Open at 6 a.m. each day. First come, first served.
My winter weather outlook tonight at 6 on Local 3 News.
We all know the saying about the elephant in the room, and if you are right now in the market to buy a house, maybe even sell your house, you're looking pretty closely at the interest rates right now. They're kind of the elephant in the room, so to speak. But Bruce Dodd from Chatt Mortgage has his own perspective on that old elephant, and he joins us this morning. Good to see you today, Bruce.
It's amazing. Good to see you too. It's amazing. Since I guess we've been doing this for a while, you and I are on like this same brain wavelength or something.
Yeah.
But that's how talking about the elephant in the room is how I start every conversation anymore these days. So yeah, I was laughing when you were saying that.
That was not a setup thing. I had no idea. But you know, I mean,
that was pretty good.
Well, we are kind of linked these days, but there's no reason to ignore that part of the conversation because A, that affects your pocketbook, but B, it can affect your pocketbook, but not in the way people are thinking because those interest rates obviously fluctuate.
Yeah, so here's the thing. If you look at wealth in the United States of America, more wealth is generated for Americans than by real estate than any other class of asset and has for a long time. And if you are renting, you're creating no wealth for yourself. Your interest rate is essentially 100% if you're renting. One of the things I think people have to think about when they're buying their first house is, yes, rates are high right now. However, your rate doesn't have to be your rate forever. You could obviously refinance that later. But the thing is we're not seeing values go down. The last time we really saw values go down was back in the mortgage crisis, 2008 to 10. The median sales price for Chattanooga barely went down at all. And at that time, going into that, we had about a year's worth of inventory. Mm-hmm. If you look at the inventory numbers, and I would suggest you go to the Greater Chattanooga Association of Realtors website and you can see the numbers for yourself. Look at market statistics for previous years, and you're going to see that we had 12, almost 13 months worth of inventory back in those days. Right now, there's about 2 months worth of inventory. 2 months worth of inventory you would typically continue to call a seller's market. So if we postpone buying a house, if we wait a year, we wait 2 years, we're looking at a home that's going to be a lot more expensive.
Right.
And so what I think is important today is you go ahead, let's get out of renting. Let's get a property, because the properties we think are going to continue to go up in value. Even if you look at counting the years 2008 to 10, between 2000 and 2020, prices went up around 4% in Chattanooga. So that says if you're buying a $300,000 house, you wait a year, that house is $312. You wait 2 years, that house is about $325. So I think what makes sense is if you're renting, let's find a payment that works for you. Let's go ahead and lock in your home ownership. Right. And then when rates come back down, then we refinance it. But that could be a minute. We don't know when that could be, but you don't want to just keep paying rent and throwing your money away every month. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about who comes through your door, because a lot of people who rent are renting because either they've newly relocated, they want to have a chance to kind of get the lay of the land, so to speak. Some people are renting because they think that they can't afford a house. Maybe they're in their 20s, even early 30s, just kind of figuring out the trajectory of their lives. And they can think that they have to have a home in the suburbs with 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. Any house, somebody will want to buy again later, right? Every piece of real estate has its value. Absolutely. And my argument would be if you're buying a house on the lower side of the price equation, we're not building a lot of houses that are entry-level houses. Houses that you see getting built right now typically are in the $400,000 range. So if you're buying a house, more of a starter home, I think those values are going to be pretty solid, and we may see those go up at a faster rate than we see more expensive things go up. Yeah. And so if you think about it, if a house, let's say you buy a house that's $250,000. If it goes up 4%, that's $10,000 it's going to go up each year. You live in that house for 5 years, that's $50,000 that you could potentially have to put towards your next house.
Right.
So I think the reason to buy your first house is to accumulate the capital to buy the house you really want. Because what's a burden for people often is down payment. Well, we can get you into a house with not that much money down, or in some cases there's some programs for people where they may not have to put down anything.
Right.
And so if you can get yourself into home ownership, then you're doing two things. Each month when you make a payment, your loan's going down, so you're building some equity there. And over time, because of what's happened historically in Chattanooga real estate values and what's going on right now, the value of that asset is going to go up. And so it's just a smart financial thing. And building wealth is often not the reason people think about buying real estate. They're thinking about, hey, I want my own place, I don't want to have a landlord. But really, if you look at it, real estate is the foundation of wealth for most Americans.
I've got about 2 minutes left. Something else that is going to be totally in your control is while the value of your property is continuing to rise, your payment is not. Unless you're in some rent-controlled situation with each year that goes by, your rent will likely go up.
Yeah, rents are going up a lot. Across the country, you're seeing going up astronomically. And so, and the other thing is that you're just not in control of the property. Mm-hmm. You can't do what you want to do to it. You never know if the owner of that property is going to sell it and you got to move. So renting, there's reasons to rent. You know, if your company is going to transfer you every year, then maybe you're not buying a house. Mm-hmm. But if you know I'm going to be in some place for a little while, there's just really not a set of economic assumptions you can put together that says you're better off renting for most people.
Okay, I have a minute left, so I want to say one thing and ask you another. The say is that I know that if you want to talk to Bruce, he would love to talk to you in person, via email or over the web, whatever you want to do that's easy for you. But he loves a conversation, and if your finances are not quite ready yet, he'll tell you, and he'll give you a rubric to get yourself on the right path. The question is, you're a divided house this weekend, right? So who's going to win Georgia, Tennessee?
Well, we're not really a divided house. I'm more of a Clemson fan because I paid tuition there.
I gotcha.
But I think we're hoping Tennessee pulls it out. I think they've got a great chance. It's amazing to see what's happened with Tennessee this year, and it's wonderful to see the program have that kind of success. But man, what an awesome game I think we're going to see. So I think it's going to be pretty quiet in Chattanooga on Saturday afternoon after around 3 o'clock.
I think you're right. So don't get in touch with Bruce during the game. All right, my friend.
Hey, well, you know what? It's fine. I can put pause.
He'll eat a wing. He'll eat a wing and talk to you at the same time. Thank you, my friend. Chatmortgage.com is your website. 591-9801 is the phone number. We're back after this.
You do so much and keep it all moving long after the lights go out. That's why we make it easy to schedule eye exams for the whole family all at once at